Lesson 5, Equations and their Graphs. Our learning target. When given the graph of a linear equation, I can explain the meaning of the points on the graph in terms of the situation it represents. One of the best ways to explore equations and their graphs is to look at some examples. We will start by thinking about beans and rice. For a party, Rosa plans to spend $120. Beans cost $2 a pound and rice cost 50 cents a pound. If X is the pounds of beans and Y is the pounds of rice, the equation 2x plus 0.50y equals 120 shows the constraint. Here is the graph of the equation. Each point on the line is a pair of x and y values that make the equation true and is a solution. Each x and y value is also a pair of values that satisfy the constraints in this situation. Now that we saw what the graph of 2x plus 0.50y equals 120 looks like, let's practice interpreting what different points mean. With each coordinate pair, each x and y pair, we need to substitute or replace the x and y values into the equation to determine if the point is a solution. Let's start with the first point, 10, 200. We will substitute in the 10 in for x and the 200 in for y. 2 times 10 plus 0.50 times 200 equals 120. Since the x and the y values of this point make the equation true, the point 10, 200 is a solution of the equation. If we buy 10 pounds of beans and 200 pounds of rice, it will cost $120, which is what Rosa wants to spend. We also know this is a solution because it's a point on the line of the graph. Let's look at the point 60, 0. Again, we need to substitute in the values for x and y. 2 times 60 plus 0.50 times 0 equals 120. The point 60, 0 is a solution to the equation, as these x and y values make the equation true. The equation equals 120. If we buy 60 pounds of beans and 0 pounds of rice, the cost will be $120. The point 60, 0 is a point on the line. Now let's look at 45, 60. 2 times 45 plus 0.50 times 60 equals 120. Since the x and y values make the equation true, the point 45, 60 is another solution to the equation. If we buy 45 pounds of beans and 60 pounds of rice, the cost will be $120, just what Rosa wants to spend. We also know this is a point because it appears on the line of the graph. Now what about 20, 80? Again, we would substitute in 2 times 20 plus 0.50 times 80 does not equal 120. It equals 80. The point 2080 is not a solution because it does not make the equation true. Rosa would spend $80, which is less money than she wanted to spend. The point 2080 is not on the line of the graph. Lastly, let's look at 70, 180. Just as we have done with all the other points, we will substitute in the values of x and y. 2 times 70 plus 0.50 times 180 does not equal 120. It equals 230. Since a coordinate pair does not equal 120, it is not a solution and does not appear on the line on the graph. With these x and y values, Rosa would spend more money than she wanted to spend. Let's take a look at another example. Misha has a savings account with $475 in it. She deposits $125 of her paycheck into her account each week. Will she have $5,000 after 20 weeks? How can we use the graph y equals 475 plus 125x to answer the question? We will need to see if the point 25,000 is on or below the graph. The point 25,000 is not on the graph. We can see that it is above the graph, so Misha will not have $5,000 in her bank account after 20 weeks. Let's keep thinking about Misha and her savings account. The point 15,300 means that after some number of weeks, there is some amount of money in the bank account. The point 15,300 means that after 15 weeks, there is $3,000 in her bank account. Is the point 15,300 a solution to the equation y equals 475 plus 125x, which is shown on the graph? How do we know? The ordered pair 15,300 is not a solution to the equation y equals 475 plus 125x because it is above the graph, not on the graph. After 15 weeks, there's more or less than $3,000 in our bank account. After 15 weeks, there is less than $3,000 in the bank account. We can see this because the line of the graph is below the point 15,3,000. Let's think about a water tank. Jerome installed a 450-gallon water tank that drains at a rate of 20 gallons per minute. If he wants to leave 150 gallons of water in the tank, he should stop draining the tank after how many minutes? How can we use the graph 450 minus 20x, which is shown in the graph, to answer this equation? He should stop draining after 15 minutes because the x value is 15 and the y value is 150. Is the point 25, negative 50 a solution to y equals 450 minus 20x? How do we know? The point 25, negative 50 is not a solution to the equation y equals 450 minus 20x because it is not on the graph. A negative value here doesn't make sense. The point 25, negative 50 means that after 25 minutes, there's negative 50 gallons of water in the tank, which doesn't make sense. It isn't possible to have negative gallons of water in a tank.